Hello, this is my quick guide to editing an image in Photopea. If you haven't watched my first video, please give that a watch because that introduces getting set up and getting ready. I have created my own document here called image editing. I am logged in to my Photopea through my Google account and I am ready to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find a suitable image. So I'm simply going to jump into Google and I'm going to get a nice picture, maybe of like a puppy or something, just for the purposes of this demonstration. So if I jump into images here in Google, I'm going to have a look for a puppy. So if I have a look through these images here and find one that I want to pick, so I'm going to pick this one here, this little puppy running. And hopefully this website will let me take a copy of it. So let's have a look. And so I'm just going to right click on this image here and I'm going to press copy image. Okay. If it's a little bit small like this one is, I might just open it in a new tab and see if they give me a bigger version. So, yeah, lovely. So you can see here, it's a very small version there. I've opened it in a new tab. I've got a nice big version here. So I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to press copy image. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to Photopea and I'm going to paste this in. Now you could just go to edit and go to paste, or you can use the keyboard shortcut Control and V in order to paste this. Either way, it works. Photopea is going to ask you if it's allowed to see things that you've copied and paste it in. You definitely want to allow this. So I'm going to press allow, and there we go. We have our puppy. Now, this image is a little bit large. It's also pasted it straight onto the background layer. So if I grab my move tool here in the top left, this is my move tool, this arrow. If I grab my move tool and try and move this, it comes up and says this layer is locked. So I need to unlock this layer by coming down here to backgrounds and clicking on this padlock. Clicking on that padlock will remove it. And now I've got my puppy that I can move around. I'm going to double click on backgrounds and I'm going to rename this to puppy. Okay, so I've got my layer. Now it doesn't all fit in, and if I did want it to fit in, then I'd need to transform it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on here where it says transform controls, and this is going to give me a box around my image. So I'm going to drag that in, and now I'm going to make that fit nicely into this. Now you can notice that as I'm dragging it around, I can really like squish the puppy, and that's probably not great. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to press that X. Sorry, I did that very quickly. Let's just show you again. So if I'm unhappy with it, there's an X up here at the top. I can just press X to cancel. Don't want to do that. Okay. What I'm going to do is when I'm on one of these boxes, I'm going to hold down the Shift key. And when I hold down the Shift key, it doesn't let me make it any smaller than it can be. So it doesn't let me like ruin the proportions of the image. And this is really important for keeping your image nice and good. So I'm holding down the Shift key. I'm using this corner control to make it smaller, and now I can let go of the mouse, let go of Shift, and I'm going to press this tick up at the top, and I have made my image smaller, and now it fits into here nicely. Now what I'm going to do with this puppy is I want to take away the background. I want to just have the puppy, and to do that I'm going to make use of the eraser tool and the zoom tool. So your layout here might look a little bit different. My editor is quite zoomed in, and so my zoom tool is up here at the top. Yours might be right down at the bottom because the layout is kind of, the things at the bottom are now kind of have doubled up and come over the side here. So you might find that your zoom tool is down the bottom might be slightly different to you. So I'm going to pick my zoom tool and I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, and let's go to our puppy. I'm going to use this hand tool up here just above the zoom tool, and that's going to let me just click and drag and grab my way around. Okay, lovely. So I'm going to grab the eraser tool now, and I'm going to think about what size I want it to be. So at the moment, it's a fairly decent size, and it's got 0 hardness. I definitely don't want 0 hardness, but I don't want full hardness either. I'd quite like a nice soft edge to my eraser. So I'm going to have about 25% hardness. Really, it's up to you. You can decide. You're clever enough to decide what hardness you're going to use on your eraser. So I'm going to just start erasing right at the bottom here, and you can see that. Can you see that inner circle and that outer circle on my eraser? That's showing me the area of its effect, and the inner circle is showing me what's going to absolutely be gone, and then the outer circle is kind of the fade, that soft fade that we're going to get. So I'm going to try and keep this away a little bit. I'm going to use a scroll wheel on my mouse just to scroll up a little bit, and I'm just going to go around the outside of my puppy with my eraser and just erase the backgrounds here. So you can see I'm just doing little bits and bobs. Do it little and often, I'd advise, because if I mess up, so say I wasn't happy with that bit, or I'll do a bit here. Let's say, I don't know, I went over here. Oh, no, I can just press Control Z and I can undo, or I can go to Edit, step backwards and undo. Okay, so I'm just going to go around this puppy. This isn't the best job by rushing it a little bit. I would take a bit more care if this was my work. Just going to come around here and, well, if it's my work, if I was doing this for something, you know, important, I'm going to come around here and just, oh dear, that's probably not the best, but hey ho. Now, I've gone around the outside. You might find that it's necessary to get a smaller eraser and then go around and do things like these ears. So let's make our eraser a little bit smaller. That's a bit too small. A little bit too large, split the difference. Okay, and we can come in here now and we can just get rid of some of these bits and we can tidy this up. Okay, so the big eraser has got rid of most of the stuff. We come around the edge here and just really tidy this up and try and make this look good. Let's get rid of that bit. So there's this tiny bit in here. I'm really going to have to zoom in here, and don't be afraid to make use of the zoom tool and get right down to it. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to grab my eraser, I'm going to drop it right down. Maybe 1 pixel is a little extreme. Let's do 4 or 5. And we're just going to come up here and we're just going to erase this bit here to really make this image stand out a little bit. Okay, I can zoom out and you can see that now that that's kind of separated from the background, I could also do the same with the other ear if I wanted to. So if I jump in here very quickly and just do that for you. So I'm just going to come in here, I'm just going to very quickly with my eraser come in. I've got it set up nice and small already, so I can just really quickly jump in and do that. And the more care you take with this, the better it will look, obviously. I'm just doing it very quickly for your demonstration. Okay, now what I've done is I've got this big gap around my puppy. So what I can do now is I can just chop off the rest that I don't want. So I'm going to grab this box here. This is my select box. And I can click and drag with my select box and I can select an area. So I'm going to select this area here. And this has selected everything that's inside here. And I can simply press delete or backspace on my keyboard and it's gone. Fantastic. And I can do the same over here. I'm going to click and drag and I'm going to let go and I'm going to press delete and that's gone. And I'm going to do the same at the top here and I'm going to, that looks about right, press delete and hey ho, that is gone as well. Now you've got this box left over. You can go to select and press deselect. You can press Control D to get rid of it, or you can right click and press deselect as well to get rid of that box. And now I can move my puppy around. I'm going to turn off the transform controls. I can move my puppy around and I've isolated it from the background. So I've just got my puppy. Okay, this is a really, really powerful technique or a powerful tool because it allows you to really transform an image and be able to combine images. So I could now put this puppy in another image and it looked like it belonged there. I can also add the transform controls back and I might hold shift again, pull this up and make it a bit larger. And I can press the tick over here. And now I've got a large puppy that I've isolated from the background there. That is my guide to very basic image editing. Getting an image in, working with an image, and best practices. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're looking for anything further, please do check out my other videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Sweet.